everyone, and a warm welcome to Economics Pedia. I hope you are preparing well for the upcoming exam since the situations are getting a bit under control, the dates are coming out and the exams are just around the corner. So, I thought why not to discuss some of the important areas that many of the candidates or aspirants face while preparing for the competitive exams, especially for the UPSCs like Indian Economic Services, even for the other some of the exams where the subjective pattern is there. Even in RBI, you have to write the English paper. Okay, whenever this English paper is there, general English paper is there in the syllabus, we don't generally take a great care of that. That happens. Most of the aspirants and most of the candidates do that. But it's again not a thing that can be compromised. So you have to prepare the English general paper as well with as details and as minutely as you are preparing the other papers. Okay, so a very important and a very scoring area in the English paper is the essay. You have to write an essay. For the civil service, in the civil service examination, you have to write 2 essays, whereas in the IES examination, Indian Economic Service examination, even for ISS, Indian Statistical Service examination, and for the RBI Grade B exam, be it DPR or DSIM, you have to write the essay. You have to write an essay. At least one essay is must. So that is our topic today, that how to write a good essay in order to score good marks. So this session is about discussing the important areas that you need to focus while preparing and while practicing for the essay writing on your own. Okay? So starting with what is an essay? It is a short description of the given topic. Right? You have to make a short note. Now, this essay, if we talk about the Indian Economic Services or Civil Service examination or any type of these types of examination, that entrance level examination, the essays you have to write, those essays are formal. Okay? Now, since it is a formal essay, there are some rules and regulations that you need to follow, and there are some extra tips that you need to remember while while enhancing the quality of your essay. Okay? Now, so as I've just said, let's talk about the Indian Economic Service. If I talk about that, then you have to write one essay of 800 words and the marks is 30. Right? So for this, you have to start the essay in such a way that it grabs the attention of the reader. Then you have to move to the body part of the essay, and that body part is no ordinary body part. You have to write and you have to include some of the extra quotes or statistical data from the government websites or from the your personal experience or anecdotes maybe you can include, so that the body part, the part of the essay, the body part of the essay, that becomes more enhanced. And further, at the end, you have to conclude it in a strong way as well. So be with us, because how to write the introduction and how to write the body and move to the conclusion, that we are going to discuss, even with the help or rather to say, we are going to take a reference from the past year's question as well. Now, starting with the beginning of the essay, right? So for the beginning of the essay, you need to do some of the groundworks. Okay, point number one for the groundwork is the basic structure of the essay. Basic structure. Now, basic structure is confined with the introduction and the conclusion. So this introduction and conclusion has to be there, and it has to be beautifully arranged and beautifully decorated with your words. And one more thing, don't use over exaggerated words of English in order to over enhancing your essay. You don't want to over enhance it, because if you continuously do that, that will make another a wrong type of impact about you. So try to be subtle on your vocabulary, I think it will be beneficial for you. Now, why introduction is so much important? The introduction is something that the examiner is going to read it at the first. So you have to grab the attention of the examiner, and your introduction is going to tell the examiner the quality and the impression about your thought process. Okay, so this is why the introduction is important. Now similarly, the conclusion is also very much important, because the conclusion, a strong end towards an essay, that shows that how beautifully you have compiled the whole essay together, starting with the introduction and ending it with a beautifully written conclusion. Okay, so that is why the basic structuring, that is the introduction and the conclusion, you have to be very much precise with the usage of the words and how to write it. Now, the second part is the planning to write an essay. For that, you need to follow 3 steps. Number 1 is that go through the topic once more and understand that what the essay is going to be about. Make clear thoughts on that. Number 2, brainstorm on the topic. Brainstorming is a very crucial step that we are going to discuss. And number 3 is that plan the outline of the essay. Okay? So these are the basic 3 steps that you need to follow while planning to write an essay. Now moving to the next part, that is the central idea of the thesis of statement. Now as I've just said that I'm going to take a reference from the past year question. If you take a look at the past year, that is 2019 IES question of general English, you will find that there was a question on there was one of the option among the 5 options that on which you have to write an essay was the responsibility of news media in India. So in this responsibility of news media in India, you need to find the central idea among this whole statement. What is the central idea? Media in India. What media is doing? How media is working? That is the central idea. This central idea, you need to suffice it with the statistics or with some practical effects of the responsibilities, that how the media house is going to affect the lives of the people and their daily routine, how their people are getting affected by these media houses. Now after finding out the central idea, you try to supplement it with some extra information, that is the true picture and reality, that how the media houses are doing and how they are getting into the lives of the normal people. Okay, so this is the third part. Now moving to the brainstorming of the topic. This, as I just mentioned, that this is a very crucial topic. So what you need to do is, whenever you read a topic on the essay, try to collect your thoughts very finely and try listing down all the thoughts that are coming to your mind, because these thoughts are helpful when you will be writing the essay in a final format. Okay, so brainstorming the topic is very important. Moving to the next part is adding elements to the essays. What are the elements that you need to add? Number 1 is you always need to uphold the constitutional value of India. Okay, you always have to praise the constitutional values. Number 2 is that whenever the topic is a bit complex one and you don't want to get into controversies, or you don't want that, because writing a controversial essay can be a bit risky. So for that you always try to take a middle ground so that you don't have to put your negative thoughts into the essays. Okay, because someone is going to read that and that person is going to give you the marks. Okay, the third thing that you need to remember and you need to add while writing a good essay is, do not question the topic itself, because if you do that, then you are simply contradicting yourself. Okay, so that makes no sense. Never try to question the topic. That is why. Now moving to the next part, that what is the element, adding extra elements that you can add into your essay. It always has to cover the 3 parts, that is the social, the political and the economical aspect of the particular essay. Like just the example I have taken, responsibility of news media in India. So for this, the social impact, the economical impact, okay, so these things you need to cover. And for betterment, of course, you can add the statistics, because that gives and enhances your uh, essays. And to increase the quality of your essay, you can also include some of your personal experience or anecdotes, so that that whole thing becomes something which is a part of you. So these were the groundworks. Now towards the writing an essay. So starting with, a very important thing that you need to remember is the time limit. You don't have indefinite time to write an essay. In IES, if I talk about, so in Indian Economic Service or Indian Statistical Service, the total marks is 100 marks, and the total hours, that is 3 hours. Total time limit is 3 hours, and you need to cover complete the whole paper within that time limit. In that question of IES and ISS, the English paper is divided into 6 parts. Okay, and all the questions are compulsory. You have to attend the questions. So if you divide 3 hours with 6 questions, approximately you are getting 30 minutes for each question, right? But again, you have to remember, since the type of questions are not the similar ones, they are different. Some are essays, some are précis, there is paragraph writing, then there is grammatical mistake finding or correct this statement, idiom and phrases are there, make sentences are there. So because of these things, you cannot allocate the same amount of time to every section. Okay, so there you need to prioritize. Now, if any one of you is looking to how to allocate your time, here is one of the example. You can allocate like this, or you can adjust according to yourself as well. Now, if someone is having a trouble with essay, then you can put a large amount of time, sufficiently large amount of time on for the essays exclusively. Like for essay, if you allocate 45 minutes of time, because you need to make a thought process which has to be very much crystal clear in nature, that will help you get the points very much faster, and that will help you to write and execute it as well. Okay, then I think it comes the précis writing. For the précis writing, you can allocate 25 to 30 minutes at max. Then for the paragraph writing, you can allocate there 30 minutes roughly. Okay, because you need to think and again you need to write. So within this 3 question, you have covered 50%, more than 50% of the time for the examination. Now for the rest 3 parts, or the rest 3 questions, you can allocate 20 minutes to each, so that will cover another 1 hour. If you allocate this in this fashion, then this will give you or provide you a good 15 minutes to spare. So in that 15 minutes, you can revise your whole paper again, and revision will give you some extra benefits, as you all know. So that is why the